Hi everyone. Let me just double check and make sure that this is actually working. It looks like it is. Okay, great. Hi everyone. Okay, so welcome to my first live write-in in quite a while. Man, it has been a hot minute, let me tell you. Well, more like a hot month, because it's like literally been at least a month since I did one of these, probably. There's been a lot going on, and yeah, I haven't really had time to write, which is why I wasn't doing live streams or joining live streams. And I guess that's just life sometimes. So, hi Stephen. I hope you're excited to get some writing done, because I certainly am, because Lord knows I really need to get back on that bandwagon, like ASAP. So I'm hoping to kind of get at like about 2 hours in today. I'd like to be on until around 3:30, just because I really do need the writing time. Now, I mean, if everyone can't stay around for 2 hours, that's fine. That's just kind of what my goal is, and I'm gonna just kind of remain on screen, hopefully, for about 2 hours, it looks like. And we'll see how many writing sprints we can get in that time. I plan on doing at least 3, but I'm hoping for more than 3. So I guess we'll see how well we do, or how chatty I get, because I have a bad tendency of talking too much. Okay, and I might have some guests that hop on later.
Hi.
Oh, hi. Oh, look, I have a guest, right as I was saying. I might have some guests later. Look at that. Welcome.
Thank you.
I think Amy might be hopping on. I'm not sure what time though. And I know she said she was having issues with her internet. Her and her internet are fighting again, apparently. So I guess we'll see if her internet like cooperates today. Okay. So what are your plans for this write-in?
I will be working on some blog posts.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you had a blog.
I got a little one on my website. I've been doing some histories for the kingdoms in my novel.
Oh, okay. That's cool. I'll have to check that out.
Thank you.
I don't do blogs, just because I have a hard enough time just getting through.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, yeah, I'm not going to add another thing to my writing plate. Books are.
That's how I am. I don't like trying to think of actual stuff for blog posts, so I just kind of use stuff that I'm already using for my story.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a smart way to do it. Hi, I think Amy might have hopped on. Unless
Hello.
There she is, and it's working.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now that I am having a non-cohesive internet day, so I cannot promise that I'll be there for the whole time, and you might catch me swearing kind of a lot. I'm working on my one of my clients' media libraries, and I'm trying to take all of the pings out of the media library and replace them with JPEGs. So that basically means that the best way I know how to do it, I'm sure there's a tool that will do it for me, but I save it, and I also take this opportunity to edit the photos. So I have to find it on the site, on the media library, save it to my computer, upload it to PicMonkey, edit it, convert it from a ping to a JPEG, save it, then replace it. And
oh man,
I don't want to say
right now. Not one.
I don't want to say that it's targeting me. Like, I know the internet is not fucking with me deliberately, but it's definitely starting to feel like I'm being targeted, because it waits until I'm ready to hit the update button to tell me that I have no internet connection.
Right.
Like, I'm cruising along, I'm watching, everything is fine, and then I hit that update button, and it's like, haha, no, and I'm like about to peel my skin off. I'm so frustrated. I'm excited to take this writing break and just stop because, oh man.
I can't imagine. I mean, I get mad at my computer when it like lags really bad when it's like loading something where I'm just like, I don't have time for this.
And I have no choice but to wait. I have to finish these tasks and they have to be done with the internet connection. I cannot work if I do not have an internet connection.
Yeah.
So, oh man. Oh, I do not.
I wish I could
right
get
now.
more done without the internet. Things would just go so more smoothly.
Oh,
Right?
okay. Yeah, so thank you for inviting me to this live stream because I am excited to take a break. I've been struggling with it for like 2.5 hours now.
Yeah, my completely sporadic, like, hey, I'm going on in like 10 minutes, you know. Kind of like that's what you and Skye did with that other live stream. You were like, so
we did. We were talking about it before we went live. We were like, damn, we totally forgot to say something to the group.
Right, yeah.
Completely. Because we had scheduled this 2 months before. So when it came up, it was like, oh yeah, tomorrow's the stream. You're ready, right? Yeah, I'm ready. How about you? So then we were talking about it before she hit the live button. I was like, oh damn, this would have been exactly the kind of thing to post to that group. My bad.
Yeah. Oh man. So I'm assuming that is what you'll be working on today.
Oh, I am not doing SEO stuff during this. No.
Okay.
Hell no.
You were like, I need a break from that.
Oh yeah. I am. Okay. I started the other day. I started the second draft of my first fiction book, and I am going through sentence by sentence and just rewriting it. I have the old document snapped on one side of the screen and the new one snapped on the other. And I'm just going through it scene by scene, sentence by sentence, and rewriting it so that I can just read, it's easier for me to do that than it is for me to read the horrible first draft writing and try to adjust and change and move. No, I just rewrite it.
Okay.
And it's going pretty good. It only took me 2 days to rewrite a whole scene. So
that's not bad.
It was faster than I wrote it the first time. So that's that's what I'll be working on today. Is my second draft.
You are kind of in the same boat where you're both kind of like rewriting a book. Only he's rewriting it because he's changing from first person point of view to third person point of view. And you're just kind of doing it as your like method of revision.
I think that's the way to say it.
Yeah. Well, everybody has their own like way that they go through their revision process, especially the first time they go through their draft. So if your first draft is more like a zero draft, I know a lot of people kind of just rewrite the whole thing because that first draft is more like you just like splurging all of the information that you had at the time into a draft.
Mm-hmm. That's what it was for me. Just dump it out of my brain.
Okay, now I need it to make sense to someone other than me.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Is that how you revise? How do you revise, Derek?
Well, my outline's more kind of like how you was describing. It's just like a couple paragraphs of stuff, just kind of get it on paper.
Yeah.
The first draft, I just try to fast draft, I guess. Type whatever. If I get stuck, I just hit like hashtag a couple times and highlight it so I can go back later in a different draft to do it. Mm-hmm. There's times I get stuck on a scene or something. I'll do that for that as well. Yeah. And I'll just continue going. And my second draft is basically just going back and filling in all those blanks.
Filling in all those scenes that you were like, I can't do this right now.
Basically.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Do you guys want to hop into the first write-in at the 40? That gives us about a minute. And then after we come back from the first write-in, we'll go through introductions. That way, in case anybody hops in while we're at the first write-in, then they'll already be here.
Sounds good.
I don't know if anyone else is coming because I didn't check. I kind of just put it out there and I was like, hey, this is what I'm going on. Hop in whenever. Does that sound good, everyone? And no, I have my demon. I mean, I could use the demon app if we really want to, but I got
how I feel about
my phone's about to die, and I don't feel like plugging it in. And I know I got demoted like 3 or 4 times over the last month, so I don't feel like listening to it go womp 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 like 5 times. So
I can keep the 15-minute timer on my phone. I don't mind.
Okay, that sounds good. Then
I will not be using the demon app, but I can monitor.
Okay.
Hell no.
All right. Well, then, if you want to count us out, then Amy, since you're keeping the timer.
Okay. Let me button. Okay. Ready?
Yep.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Hmm? Thank you. And that's time. I have my audio turned off so you can't hear all my notifications.
Oh, okay. So, I didn't actually do writing. I'm going through and dividing my scenes into chapters now. So that I kind of have a better sense of checking off my boxes and things. So, because I'm going into like the last third of the book, maybe.
Yeah.
I know this is kind of where I usually have like certain things have to happen at the end of a chapter before the next chapter begins. So
yeah,
that's kind of why I'm like, yeah, I need to do this before I continue now.
I finished rewriting scene number 2 completely, and I started on scene 3. I got 90 words on scene 3. Scene 2 only had like 183 words.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my scene sizes are all over the place.
Yeah, I know. Mine are too. I have no idea. I don't know why, but some scenes are like literally 400 words. And then other scenes are like 3,000 words. I'm like,
yeah, I rewrote scene 1 yesterday, and it's like 2,147, I think it was. And then scene 2 is 182 words. Like, mine are all over the place like that too.
Yeah. How'd you do, Derek?
I got 290 words done.
Woohoo!
That's good in 15 minutes.
Which is like one event in the history blog thing.
Oh, really?
Let me see if I can get these tabs right.
Kat said about muting during sprints. Something about notifications are distracting. I didn't think I had. I don't have my phone's not over here, so. And you said your phone's on mute. I didn't hear any notifications.
I didn't notice either.
Huh. I mean, it's not a problem. I mean, I can mute during sprints. I mean, we're not talking anyway, so I didn't notice them, so. Oh, Sarah said she heard one, like maybe a Facebook one.
Oh
yeah, that might be maybe it was my computer, like notifying me. I probably am just so used to it that I completely block it out and I don't even register it anymore. That's so bad.
I definitely think that's what it is with all the Facebook notifications, because you get so many throughout the day.
Yeah.
Especially that little Facebook ping, you don't even question it if you're not paying attention.
Oh, okay.
I know I don't.
Steven said he finished rewriting for his chapter 1, so he's rewriting from first person to third person. So he got a whole chapter done. Holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
That is like you don't realize how like time consuming and tedious that is. And so you have to do it, because I remember I had to do that for my first book, because I was like, I don't know, like halfway through the book when I realized I wanted to add a second point of view. And I was like, yeah, I ain't doing 2 point of views both in first person. That just like, that ain't gonna work for me. Like, I can't do that. So then I was like, I guess if I really want this second point of view, I'm gonna have to switch the point of view so that I can, like, a second character's point of view. I'm gonna have to switch it from first person to third person so that it makes more sense if I have 2 characters' point of views. So Yeah, I know how frustrating it can be to have to rewrite everything just from first to third person. Like, I mean, in a way, it was kind of nice because I could kind of revise as I was making the changes. So it almost gave me another revision pass that I hadn't planned on. so
Yeah.
So that was, that was kind of a plus. That was a plus way of looking at it. Like, okay, well, at least I get this out of it. I'm not in the ass right now.
Okay, I don't have the little notifier that tells me it's been 5 minutes, but it's 2:00. So do you want to go ahead and start another sprint?
Yeah. Let me. I had a question that I wanted all of us to quick answer in between the breaks, and then we'll hop into the next write-in. And the question is about our current work in progresses. So it could be if you're like, I know you're in revision, so it could be about your revision story. I'm still in the drafting stage because I feel like I am perpetually in the drafting stage. And I know Derek said he was working on a blog post, but I think he said it had to do with one of his stories. So the question is, if your main character got deserted on an island, what is the one thing he or she would want with them?
I have two main characters, and I can tell you right now that both of their answers would be the other person. At this point, they're super codependent, so my main characters both would want the other main character there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for my story that I'm actually working on, it doesn't really have a main character. It's from like multiple points of views. I'm not talking about like 2 or 3. I'm talking like 10, 15, something like that. It's like a huge cast.
Oh, yours is like a fantasy, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So that one would be kind of hard, but I got a side project. It's written from first person, and the goal for the main character is just trying to get his best friend's sister back. So I guess maybe his best friend's sister.
Oh, okay. Okay. That makes sense.
How about you, Nicole?
My story technically has 2 main characters too, and it is a romance, but in the beginning of this, it depends what part of the story, I guess, we're talking about, because in the beginning of the story, they would never choose each other as the one thing that they would want with them, but by the end of the story, they probably would. But in the beginning of the story, I think my main character, Kayleen, would probably choose her bow and arrow because she takes a lot of pride in the fact that she has the archery skills and she can kind of fight alongside the boys. So she would definitely want her weapon with her. And then my main male character, Raoul, I'm trying to think what he would want on a deserted island. That's not the other person. Or they met the other person, we're gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a really hard one. Oh, he would want his tent. And I know that sounds really weird, but he would want his tent because if he's on a deserted island, he's a vampire. And since he's a vampire, he would need the tent as his protection from the sun during the day.
Just be walking around the island looking like a giant upright sleeping bag, all wrapped up.
Yeah, like this is like it's like one of those like little like little 1-person military tents, but it's but it's made out of the UV reflecting material, so the UV can't get through the tent. So and he doesn't have to like crawl into a hole or whatever.
Yep.
So that's what he would want with him. Okay, all right, and it's going to be about 2:05 in a minute, so we could start the next writing sprint in about a minute. Steven says his MC would want her twin brother with her. Well, I heard that makes sense. I heard twins usually have a really tight bond. So, yeah, that makes sense to me. I feel like my characters are the only ones that didn't choose another person. Maybe they're just apparently they're not very nice people, or they don't have anybody close to them. I don't know.
I think that depends on how you interpret the question. I think you proposed it as a literal question, not like a metaphorical expression or something.
Right.
And
I was just
yeah,
thinking that he or she would want with them.
yeah, a literal item. My characters would
Yeah.
not care about a literal item whatsoever. The entire point of this story is them trying to get back together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, see, mine isn't. My main characters had no intention of getting together with anybody.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So bring on the tents and bows and arrows.
exactly. They're like, this is about survival.
Okay, I have 2:05 on my clocks.
Okay, all right. You can count us in then again.
Okay, ready? 5,
Yep.
4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, and that's time. Everybody's still muted. I can't hear anybody else.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go.
I managed to get 258 words.
Ooh, man, everybody's doing great with their word counts today.
Thank you.
I finished doing my chapters, so I got that done, and then I wrote. I started writing like a note, like a more fleshed out note of what the next scene, how the next scene is going to go, because I find that that's kind of been helping me get through the scenes a little easier once I actually sit down to like write out the scene if I know step by step what's happening.
Yeah.
So that's what I was working on.
Cool.
I think the note I was writing it. I think the word, my note word count was 112. I don't know where it counts, but
oh, it all counts.
It all counts, right? Steven said he got 232. That's good. I feel like a lot of us are in that like $200 to $300 word range. Yeah, this is where my head's at. What'd you get, Derek?
I got 294.
Nice.
Everybody's kind of in that range, seems like today.
Yeah.
That's usually my range.
Yeah, that's usually mine too. That's my average. My average is usually like 200 to 300.
I know one time I broke a little over 1,000.
In 15 minutes?
Like 15 or 20, I don't know. Something like that.
Oh, God. Now you were on a roll.
Yeah, when I'm writing, I seem to get like ballpark 400. I was trying to push myself to at least break 500 on the stream because I've done it twice with Skye, but we were just writing, we weren't streaming. And but in this rewrites, I seem to barely get like mid 200s, not even 300s, because I'm reading, processing, rewriting. So much slower than my other pace, but it's definitely a better quality of writing, I can tell. So I'm okay going slower if I don't have to do this again.
Yeah. Okay, and then before we go into our next sprint, I have the second question we can quick answer before we jump into the next one. And this one is your current work in progress character driven or plot driven?
Plot driven for sure. My main characters are kind of a result of something that happened, and they're kind of floundering for the whole story. They barely know what's going on. They're swept up in a current of events. So definitely plot driven. They don't steer the story.
Okay. So they're just kind of along for the ride.
Yeah.
Okay.
It all revolves around them, but they're not actually calling any of the shots.
Oh, okay. I know Derek said his was, well, he has more than one. The one story he said there's like 10 characters, so.
Yeah, most of my stuff is all plot driven.
Okay. I'm trying to think what mine is. I feel like I'm the one that has the hardest time answering these questions, and I'm the one that came up with the goddamn questions. Like, it's ridiculous. Only because like I'm thinking about it, I'm like, well, I mean, obviously I had a plot in mind, but most of the time what's happening in the plot, even though I'm the one that came up with the plot, as I was planning out the plot, it was because of choices the characters were making that was making those plot points happen.
So I guess that's character driven?
Well, I guess they're character driven, even though I came up with the plot points.
I think the difference is basically like who's calling the shots. You know, it's a character driven if the person that's calling the shots in the story is your main characters, and so they're dictating what happens next. Right. But I think, in my very limited knowledge, and then to be plot driven, it's more like there's a course of events that have been set in motion, and it involves your main character. Right. But however your main character reacts these plot events are still going. They're still coming for him regardless of what happens. And I think that's the difference between plot and character.
All right.
Well,
Well,
then mine would probably be both.
mine is definitely character driven. Yeah,
I think. Don't quote me. Somebody's probably going to correct me.
I mean, that makes sense the way you described it. So, I mean, if that's the case, then I know mine is character driven because, you know, it's like a snowball effect. Like one choice affects the next choice so if I change one thing, like the whole thing falls apart. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that sounds like character to me.
Yeah, it's definitely character driven then.
Yeah, my main characters
questions and I don't even know how to answer the question. That's just great.
Your questions are cool though. This is different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like having, you know, something for us so that we can kind of discuss what we're writing on or what we're working on as we're going through it. But I know sometimes we're like, you know, what part do I talk about? So I was like, oh, jot down some things that we could talk about in between. So, Steven said that he got like 500. He usually gets 500 if he's only writing, but unfortunately, he's transcribing from first person to third person. Poor Steven. And he said his story is also plot driven. Oh man, I'm all alone. I'm the only one character driven. Oh wow. Okay.
Another interesting question would be, which do you prefer to read? Since we're writers, which one do we prefer to read? Do we like character driven better or do we like plot driven? Because I know personally I like plot driven. I know that's why I chose to tell this story in this way. Because I like that impending feeling where you know this thing is coming.
Right.
And the character's scrambling, trying to get ready for it, trying to get to it before it gets to them, whatever, however you want to say it.
Right. Yeah,
I like that. I like reading that where it's coming. You better get ready.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Derek? You prefer to read?
I'd probably say plot driven.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. I know most people write what they prefer.
I think I've read more plot driven. I haven't really read that many character driven stories.
See, I feel like I'm a little bit of a mixture as far as reading goes because
I'm very picky what I read.
Yeah, because I feel like, I mean, I've definitely read plenty of things that were plot driven that I knew, like, you know, that there were things that were going to happen no matter what, and they had to prepare for it. So I've read plenty of those, but I've also read a ton of character driven stories where it really depended on what kind of decisions they were making as the story progressed.
I feel like romance would probably be primarily character driven too.
Yeah, and that's definitely where
relationship features.
When I think about what I've read, it definitely does. That's kind of where the separation line falls. Like most of my, like, if I read like YA or something like that, that was all plot driven mostly. But a lot of the romance that I've read has all been more character driven, which makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Because romance.
So I mean, as far as reading goes, I'm kind of a mixed bag. But as far as writing goes, everything I've written is all character driven, I think. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
So I've got 229. Do we want to start another sprint at 230?
Yep, that sounds good to me. Like I said, I need to get all the writing sprints in I can today.
Yeah. I'm just happy to take a break from this internet thing. And this is my luck too. I've been struggling with it all morning, and usually it craps out for me on the streams, but now it's working because I'm streaming, even though all morning while I was working, trying to pay the bills, it didn't want to cooperate. But anyways, I've got 230 on my end. So okay. Everybody ready?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, that's time.
Okay. I wrote a little more in my note. My daughter got home, so I had to go help her. She wanted to ride her bike, so I was down there for a few minutes. So I missed like half of that.
Life happens when you're live.
Every single time.
I got 205.
I got 234.
Nice.
I got like 160. I want to say. I'm averaging because I'm still in the same document, and Scrivener just kind of tallies up the whole number. So I'm like, okay, it was 112 last time, and now it's like 2. So I'm like trying to do quick math in my head, and I'm like, it's
That's
like
good
2.
considering you were gone for half the time.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, that wasn't bad for being gone part of the time. So yay me. Okay.
You got any more of those probing questions for us?
I do. Steven said he got 243. So it sounds like I said, everything's kind of
Nice.
right in that range, that same pace. Yes, I do have one more question. And that is, who runs the show, you or your characters? And that basically means, like, you know how some people will say, like, they know what's going to happen and they tell their characters where they're going, but then in other cases they're like, yeah, my character totally runs the show. Like they just kind of tell me what's going to happen next. I guess it depends. That's more like, are you a plotter or a pantser? Because I feel like if you're a pantser, your characters are kind of telling you what's going on, and if you're a plotter, then you're kind of telling your characters what's going on. So that's question. Who runs the show? Is it you telling your characters what to do, or is it your characters telling you what to do?
I'll tell my characters what to do.
I agree. I do too. And I'm definitely a plotter, so I think you might be onto something there because I plot thoroughly. My final outline was basically a rough draft.
Yeah, that's how mine is.
According to Skye, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's how thoroughly I plot. So, yeah, no, my characters, I understand what you're saying. Do they kind of get a mind of their own and then you're just writing the story and watching what they do and how they react? Definitely not me.
Okay.
I do that some on like side plots or whatever. Kind of let them take over. But the actual main points or whatever, I tell them what to do.
Yeah. I'm kind of in that part. Like when it comes to like plots, like what's happening in the plot, then I feel like I'm the one that's kind of telling them where they're going. But when it comes to like personal choices that they're making in their life, you know, like relationship wise or whatever, you know, whatever it happens to be, then I feel like it's more them telling me what they're doing. Especially, I feel like dialogue is one place where the characters totally run the show for me. Like the stuff that spews out of their mouth, I'm just like, where did that come from? Obviously, I knew it came from me, but I'm like, I was not thinking about that when I sat down to write this. So
I have not had that experience yet. This is my first time ever writing fiction like this, so I have not done that. Everything that I've done has been plotted, even down to like who needs to dominate this conversation and what is their priority. What are they talking about dominating this conversation? And my secondary characters trying to make a point, but no, I plot it all the way down.
I even plot dialogue at times or whatever.
Yeah, me too.
One thing I rarely plot dialogue. I mean, I might have like a snippet of like a thing that I kind of like wanted in there, but like my stories are pretty dialogue heavy. So, and that's probably because my characters just go freaking crazy on me with the dialogue. So
I have some chapters in my book.
What the conversation's supposed to be, and in my head, I'm thinking, okay, this conversation's going to take like half a page, and then my characters take the reins, and then all of a sudden, that half a page turns to like 3 pages. And
I feel like that's probably the norm for a character-driven story, though.
Yeah. So, like I said, some like in those in those times, I feel like my
Yeah.
characters are running the show more than I am.
I know I have some chapters that's almost completely dialogue, and I have another chapter in my book that might have like 2 words of dialogue in the whole chapter. So it kind of varies.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was just me because I'm going back through my script and I'm like, okay, I seem to have, scenes that might be dialogue heavy because, these two characters found each other. But I have I have a good number of scenes where there is no dialogue at all. And
I honestly
don't know if that's okay.
I don't think I have a single scene that has maybe my characters are just too chatty. They cannot say nothing. Like they always have something that they have to say. Maybe that's just my characters. I don't know. But like there's never a scene that they have nothing to say. Maybe because my main character is one of those where she like always has to put her 2 cents in, you know what I mean? Those types. Yeah. So maybe that's why there's always dialogue somewhere, because it doesn't matter the situation. She's gonna have something to say about it.
Like Amy was talking about earlier with the links, I know my first chapter of my book, I think it's like 4,000 something words, and I have another chapter that's like 500. Mine varies, and links like that too.
Yeah.
And do your shorter ones probably don't have dialogue in them?
Oh, it has dialogue.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I noticed all my really short scenes, those are some of the ones that have 0 dialogue. Usually, if it's short, there's no dialogue whatsoever.
Mine's a dialogue, but it's like focused on one particular conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a short, straight to the point type chapter.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to think how I feel like none of my chapters are like purely dialogue or purely not dialogue. Like, I think there's like a little bit of everything going on in like every chapter. Yeah. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm like trying to think.
I have no idea if I'm doing it right or not.
I'm pretty sure my story isn't divided that neatly right now.
How's your chapter list coming?
My chapter, I got my chapters listed out. So, and like I knew I needed to kind of, because I'm always really picky about where my chapters end and where the next one starts.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially as we get closer to the end of the book. So I was like, yeah, I should do this before I keep going.
Mine worked out really well where I knew earlier on that it was only going to take 7 days for this to happen. So it was pretty easy for me to think, 7 days, 7 chapters. I don't even have to come up with titles. I just put the day of the week.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that worked for me. I was like, you know what? That totally works. Like it works with some of the other themes in my book too. So I got lucky with that. But
doesn't that just wrap it up in a nice, neat little bow for you?
Yeah. On the flip side, though, that means that my chapters have an inconsistent number of scenes because I have activities that are taking place real time in the world, and some of that is like travel. So sometimes there's like a 4-hour car ride to get from this side of the state to that side of the state type deal.
Yeah.
And my chapters were broken up really easily, but what scenes went in what chapters I still have not ironed out, because there are still a few points where I'm like, I genuinely have no idea how much time has passed between this and that, because I don't know how long it would take them to get to where they were going. So my chapters divided up easily, but I'm still going to have to go back and double check and make sure that the right scenes are in the right chapters.
Oh, okay. Yeah, mine, mine doesn't go by like time. Like I don't have like days or settings or anything like that with my chapter division. Mine is pretty much like I'll go through and I'll be like, all right, where is a good place for me to stop this? Where they're going to be like, God damn it, why did she stop it here? Like that's how I break up my chapters.
Yeah.
Because I'm mean like that.
Okay, are we going to do another sprint?
Yeah, we can do another sprint. That was my last question, though. So,
okay.
So we're good with the questions. We've gone through them all. I just wanted to add at least 3 because I know we always do at least 3 sprints. So
because I've got 2:55 on my clock right now.
Yeah, I could do another sprint. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to go ahead and start it now?
Yep.
Everybody ready?
5. That works for me.
Cool. Okay, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, that's time.
Okay. I think I got more done that time, but that's probably because I didn't get interrupted.
I did really good. I got 300 whole words.
Ooh, that is good. I'm not sure if I did that well, but
I got 251.
ooh, I did.
Yeah.
I got 334, and that was technically no cheating, though. Still counts. Still counts. So not bad. 334. Whoop. I don't even no idea what that puts me at for today. All I know is I got some notes written. I got 611 words of notes written, and I got my chapters figured out. So that's what I accomplished today.
I got one whole scene done, which was only like 182 words, and 900 something words in the next scene. So,
Wow,
yep.
that's a lot. That's a lot.
Moving on.
Session. That's a lot. That's like 1,000 words.
Between the two of them, definitely.
Yeah, that's great.
It's easy for me to do that though, because like I said, I'm basically transcribing almost, like it's there, and then I think about it, and then I just rewrite what's there.
Oh, right. I forget.
Yeah. This is an original thought.
Yeah. No, I'm still in original thought mode. How about you, Derek?
I did 251.
Nice.
Okay. And are you still working on that? What was it? A blog post?
Yeah, I got all the history done now for it. I just got to go through and figure out all the monarchs and stuff during those time periods.
Okay, so getting there, almost done.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have any more questions for us?
No, I mean, hold on. I'm sure I could come up with more if you really want me to.
I'm just wondering. I've got to get going soon, so.
Yeah, I got to get going around. Like I said, I planned on being on till around 3:30. So, I mean, we can't technically do another sprint because then it would go pretty much past 3:30 then. So, unless we do a short sprint, but I figured we could just I mean, I can come up with a quick question. What we were talking about? Oh, yeah, characters and plot driven and things like that. That's what today's theme was about, I think. Trying to think, like I'm looking at these questions and I'm like, so did I even have a theme when I came up with these questions?
Well, you did pretty good. If you didn't, you're right. They are all on a similar topic.
They are. They're all either about characters. Well, they're all kind of about characters in one way or another.
Character versus plot.
Yeah, and we already went over that we're all plotters in some sense of the word, at least.
Yeah.
Some of us more so than others, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Whatever works.
Are you as bad as Amy, Derek, with the rough draft length outlines?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I know some of my chapters just the outlines like 2 or 3 paragraphs.
Yeah. That's kind of how I am. Like my scenes are pretty. My scene when I first do my outline, my scenes are pretty spare, like very sparse. I only have a few sentences really about what's going to happen in that scene.
Thick paragraphs.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm doing now. Now that I've gotten to the point where it's like, all right, now I feel like I need more information to move forward. So I'm going back. That's what I'm doing now. I'm going back to my outline and I'm kind of like fleshing out all of those original scene ideas that I just kind of jotted down. So now I'm going back and I'm like, all right, now I need to, I'm going to need more than like 2 sentences so that I know what's actually going on, like piece by piece.
Yeah.
Because I normally during like the first time I write the outline, I'm not that detailed with it.
Yeah.
Like I need to write some of the story in order to get that detailed, I feel like.
I usually go through and just kind of put like the key points to the main plot and the subplots. And
Yeah.
then I will go back and actually make thick paragraphs through my outline. And then I'll start writing the story. And then each time I get to a chapter, I'll go through and make it even thicker of an outline for each chapter as I get to them with the dialogue and all that stuff.
I do something similar, but I do it with bullets.
Yeah.
Like bullets on the page, bullet this conversation, sub bullets need to talk about this. I need this to happen. I need
that's how all my paragraphs are.
Bullet,
I do little paragraphs of each
Okay.
information, and it's like a little bullet point, and then the next plot point or whatever in that chapter would be another paragraph bullet point thing.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to what I might have to do in the future, because I feel like there's some things that were bullets that if they made it to my outline, I needed them. But I don't know that they all made it into what I wrote. So at some point I'm going to have to go through and reread my outline and compare it to my scenes. And I haven't decided if I want to do that before or after. Like, I know I don't have that problem for the first 8 or 10 scenes.
Yeah.
But
I copy and paste my outline onto the actual document so I can see it as I'm writing.
Oh, mine's all handwritten. My rough draft is the first thing I have that's typed. So I made it more complicated for myself. I think your system sounds much better.
Steven says that he got 228 done this last time.
Ooh, nice.
That's good. Oh, and he also said that his chapters are named after whatever character's point of view that chapter's in, because he has 3 different characters' point of views.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he does his chapters. Like yours, you're doing by day.
Mm-hmm.
Mine, I have absolutely no rhyme or reason to them.
Yeah.
I kind of hint at what goes on in the chapters in my titles.
Is that what you did? Is that what you did for your fantasy book that has 10 different characters? Did you name the chapters after the character that the point of view is in, or did the point of view change throughout the chapter?
Some of them it changed throughout the chapters. Some it didn't. But I named the chapter after like something that would be related to that chapter, I guess.
Like the battle of
so some kind of plot point almost.
Kind of more subtle, kind of like a little bit of hinting at something without actually saying it or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's why I don't name my chapters, because I'm afraid if I name my chapters, I'm going to be way too I feel like I'm not going to be subtle enough about it. And they'll just be like, well, I know what's happening in this chapter now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, mine's, you know what's going to happen in the chapter. You just don't know how it's going to end in a sense, but you know the main focus, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that, I've seen it done well. It's just, I don't know if I could do it well. So just no.
I got multiple chapters for like a certain side plot, and I like to kind of name them similar together, so you can kind of see the name, but that's kind of follow up on this other chapter in a sense.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
I got one that's a sizzle in the pan, and then the follow up chapter is a dish best served cold or best served boiling.
I get it.
See, he's much. It sounds like I could tell by like 2 chapters that he's much better at this than I would.
I love naming stuff. I find it easy.
Yeah, they don't come that easily to me at all. Like I'm trying to come up with a chapter, and I'm just like, I don't know, like this happens, but if I can't say that in the beginning of the chapter, I'm just like, no, I'm not even trying.
I really
I'm going to be able to repeat this every single chapter.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of you see it a lot on TV shows where like Friends, all the episodes are the one where and then blah 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 blah. And then like Third Rock from the Sun, the leader of the aliens, his name is Dick. So it's like Dick goes to the mall, Dick discovers cigarettes, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I actually really love that, but I have not had the opportunity to implement it. It doesn't fit with this.
Yeah.
So
that's like my problem. It's like I understand the concept because you're right. The TV shows do it. I've seen it in books plenty of times where it works like wonderfully. It's just like I'm just looking at my chapters and I'm like, I have no freaking idea what to name this chapter. And I'm like, if I can't figure it out for one, there's no way in hell I'm figuring it out for 20 or 30. So
I got 58 chapters in my book.
I have 47 scenes. I think that's one of those things where, you know, what you call a scene and what you call a chapter is personal preference.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you've got 57 chapters in your book,
yeah,
that's probably you have something like 57 scenes, right? Or like a chapter might have 1 or 2 scenes.
Yeah.
A lot of my chapters have like maybe some of them's got 1, some's got 2 or 3. There might be one that's got like 4. They're roughly about 2,000-3,000 words a piece.
Mm-hmm.
Mine are even my chapters. I feel like are kind of a little. I mean, they're not as bad as my scenes, but they're a little all over the place. Because I think it's because I'm just like, I'm so determined to end a chapter at a certain point that I'm like, I don't care if it's only been 1,500 words. Like, it's ending here. I don't know. I guess that's why my chapters are a little like, you know, one of them's 1,500 and then another one's 3,000. But I'm just like, oh, well. I guess that's just how it's gonna happen because it's ending here.
That's what I told myself too. I was like, you know what? You barely know what you're doing, so just do it. Don't worry about numbers and all that stuff. I did kind of want to title my scenes just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I really liked that the one where. And so I was thinking I'd get too snarky with it though, you know, like it'd be really vague, like the one where the main character is still pissed off. Like that would be its chapter name for me. If I was left to my own devices, that would be the extent of it. The one where she got to say, I told you so, you know, it'd be something like that. And I didn't feel like that was original. And again, like I said, I decided early on, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm learning by doing, so don't try to learn yourself into a hole. Just keep going.
Yeah.
I let stuff like that go, and sometimes when I hear other people like having fun with it, I'm like, man, I want to do that, but I'll have to do that on a different story because
I know
it doesn't work with this one.
Yep. That's
so
how
I'm looking forward to having this discussion again in the future. When I have more to contribute besides I named it after the days of the week.
Yeah, right. That I'm telling you, that makes it so easy.
It does.
Yeah, I
don't. All the guesswork out of it, but
no wonder I didn't name my chapter.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. It's 3:23, so we're closing in on 3:30 here. So and I just realized because I'm just so good at this live streaming thing. I just realized that we never did introduce ourselves after the first sprint.
Sorry about that. I'm busted
good host.
My internet connection.
That was my bad.
So we don't get intros, but we do get bona fide outros.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I'm gonna make sure that we at least do our closeouts. So I mean, people will know who we are and why we're here.
Most of the people that are listening right now already know who we are. This is just for you, the internet in perpetuity, posterity.
Right.
Those
for all of you
looking at this video 2025
out there next year or next week or next month or whoever's watching this in the future. That's why we're doing it's for you people. Okay, so I'm sorry, Amy. We're gonna go in alphabetical order just because that's what we always do, and you should be used to this by now. So
I don't mind the alphabetical order until I get it wrong. Like I've jumped in front of Alina a couple of times, and I'm like, shit, I look like such a dumbass. I can't get through the alphabet.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Alina would be in front of you.
Yes, she would.
Yeah.
She called me a rebel trying to rewrite the alphabet like the third time I did it.
That's great.
But yeah, I am Amy Nobody. I don't have any social media or a website. I'm not at that point yet, and I really don't want to do it. And I'm a certified SEO consultant, certified through UC Davis, and I have to go back to doing SEO work after this is over with this spotty internet connection. Maybe you guys are my good luck charm. My internet will hold up. If you see me swearing in the group conversation in the next hour or so, you'll know.
No, yeah. If I see
Oh.
any like whole gifts going around where
Any
there's
rage
like,
gifs?
somebody on the ground, I know what's going on.
But I'm working on my second draft of my first fiction book, struggling my way through it, and basically doing not a rewrite content-wise, just a rewrite for syntax and semantics and all that kind of stuff. I'm going sentence by sentence and rewriting the whole thing for my second draft, and it's working so far. I know this is how my brain works. I knew this was the right way to do it, so I'm making progress.
That's good. That's
And
good.
that's me.
You have a good grasp on what your process will be this early on. That'll help loads. I wish I had figured that out earlier on.
Yeah, I struggled with all of this stuff, learning all that stuff about myself.
Yeah.
Like 8 or 9 years ago when I was doing freelance writing primarily and editing. And I had to, figure out, okay, well, I can't spend 4 hours writing this article. They're waiting for it. So,
Yeah.
I learned all that stuff then, and now I'm committed. Like I tell myself that's how my brain works, whether I like it or not.
Yep. And now you're like, now I'm just chugging along.
Yep. But that's me.
Okay, Derek.
I'm D.L. Stewart. I write adult medieval fantasy. My debut novel, The Battle for Medagor, comes out. I got glare, but it comes out on the 21st of this month. It's for pre-order on Barnes & Noble, Books Depository, IndieBound, all that stuff. I have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, a website. Everything's under the Elster author. I have a newsletter you can sign up for. If you sign up for it, you'll get the first 2 chapters of my debut novel sent to you. If you pre-order it, you'll get the first 4 chapters.
Nice.
Ooh, nice.
And I think I got the opening scene up on my website for you to read for free.
Aw.
Ooh, we love free scenes. Let's check that out then.
I love teasers.
And I got a deleted scene in my blogs up there somewhere.
Oh, well, yeah, because you said you were working on your blog today. Okay, guys. Well, you're on my channel, so I'm gonna assume you know who I am. My name is Nicole Wolf. I write paranormal romance, and I have 2 books up on Amazon. And since D.L. Stewart here with his books so they're so handy, he kind of reminded me that hey, I have paperbacks around here somewhere. I should grab mine. That is a good idea. Yeah. So I did, because normally I don't think of those things. So thank you, Derek. Look at you making me all. So these are the 2 books that I have up on Amazon right now. And I also have my 3rd book up on pre-order that's coming up at the end of the month. And you can find links for all of these books on my website at NicoleWolf.com. And I'd like to thank Amy and Derek for joining me today and making this a great sprint, especially since it was the first time I was hopping back on this bandwagon in a while. So I really appreciate the support.
No problem.
Okay, and hopefully I will be able to do this again. I'm hoping in the next few days, because I need to do so much writing. It's ridiculous. So so once I know when I'll be hopping on again, my sporadic hopping on, I'll let you know when I'm hopping on again, in case you guys have some time and want to hop on again.
Cool.
Okay. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.